iTunes U at Kennesaw State University.
So my name is Dan Paraka. I'm Director of Education Abroad. Most of you have been coming weekly to these events, and I hope you'll continue to come throughout the year. As I mentioned, the Machu Picchu exhibit, don't miss it. I'm going to turn over the floor to my colleague Audrey Garcia, who's the Director of Latin American and Iberian Studies here at Kennesaw State. It was her great idea and her hard work and enthusiasm in connecting with our guest speaker for today. And so I want to thank Audrey for partnering with the Year of Peru all year long, and especially for making this possible today. Thank you.
Hi, well, yeah, it's my great pleasure to be with Professor Gonzalez-Viana. I have taught a couple of classes with his books, Los Sueños de América, Dreams of America, or American Dreams, that talk about different Latinos coming to the United States and the processes and ordeals and happy events that they go through. He also wrote a book that I like teaching with, which is Dante's Ballad, or El Corrido de Dante, which deals with immigration too, and deals with the very current issue of narco-trafficking and narcos, and he relates that to all Mexican ballads from the revolutionary era. And he has tons of books. And the last one is El Amor de Carmela. And what can I say about you? He has written tons of books. He is very fun. He knows all the actors, actresses, singers, dancers, anything that you can. Even we were talking that he knows Catherine Deneuve. Catherine Deneuve. So, Rulfo. So, Vargas Llosa. He lived 2 months with Vargas Llosa, the Nobel Prize of Peru. So, he has tons of stories written, and he'll tell you more. Mike.
Gracias a ustedes. Thank you very much for being here. Actually, I would need to tell you that I am here. I have been in the United States for 20 years. And I came here invited in 1990 in order to be here for a term, for a semester at Berkeley, UC Berkeley, as a visiting professor. When I received the invitation, I called the dean in Berkeley. I was in Lima. I called him and I told him, well, a term, a semester is too much. And he told me, no, it's only 4 months. So you will be only 4 months. That happened in 1990. And I am here. Yes, and also, actually my English is very accented, yes, because I never thought I was going to come here to live in the United States. And when I was a kid, my English teacher told us that in order to have an American accent, it was necessary to introduce a pipe into the mouth and to say, I am, you are, he is. So I thought, I hate smoking. So I'm not going to be, to speak like an American, never. Oh my, sorry. Well, in order to speak about the subject is Peruvian in my novels, isn't it, Dan? Yes, Peruvian in my novels. I will need to reveal you who were my best friends when I was a kid and also a teenager. And they were a mountain and a book. A mountain, yes, exactly, a mountain. A nice shaman, witch doctor from my town had advised me that in order to have power, resilience, it was necessary for me to climb up the mountain of my town, up to the hill where it was located, the old Inca cemetery, and stay there for a whole night alone. And I did it. I believe I did it because I was tired to be the top student in my class, and therefore the preferred victim of the bullies. I don't know if the mountain gave me magic powers, but it gave me the feeling that I had. And nobody dared from that moment to harass me. And I think that the mountain has accompanied during my whole life. Even now, when I am living 10,000 kilometers far from my country. The witch doctor and the mountain are the reasons why I wrote two of my most important books when I lived in Peru and Spain. Well, I have published between 30 and 40 books. And one is San Pedro. Speak San Pedro. San Pedro is the name of a cactus, a hallucinogenic cactus that grows in the desert of Peru. According to the witch doctors, it gives power against infirmity, the illness. And that is the story of a shaman, witch doctor, who was able to heal people, to do a lot of things, very important things, and that is very important in a country where people doesn't have money, enough money to go to a medical doctor, and whose salary it doesn't reach the amount to buy an antibiotic. So I published that book in Spain, and that after that it was translated to French. And for me, it's a testimony and a homage to the witness of my people. After that, I published another book whose name is Sarita Colonia. That is a name. Sarita Colonia was a poor young woman from the mountains of Peru who was canonized not by the church, not by the Catholic Church, but by the poorest people in the world, my people. These people, Sarita is the saint of the horse, the thief, the people who doesn't have an occupation and who put or fixed a paper in their cars, taxi, and they work as a taxi drivers. Sarita is the son of these people, the poor people. Of course, I told you, the official church never will recognize her because she is not a white, beautiful woman as the saints. She is a poor Indian little girl. She was. And she died, like the poor people die, with an illness of poor people. But after that, 20 years after her death, people believed that she made miracles. And they began to speak about Sarita Colonia. And if you go to Peru, and you are going to go, no? Really? You go to Peru, you are going to see many images of her. And you are going to, if you go to take a bus, a microbus, you are going to see the image, her image. You are going in a taxi, to see the image. If you, is a thief is close to you, tell him Sarita Colonia. And it's possible that you are not going to be his victim. This book is also the testimony of my reverence to the sanctity of the poor people. That is the reason why I wrote it. But I told you at the beginning that my first friends were a mountain and a book. The book was not written in Spanish. I read that book when I was 11 years old, and that book was the Divine Comedy. I began to read the Divine Comedy that time, and I think I continued reading it. Last year I was in Siena, in the Toscana in Italy, and I was with my Divine Comedy, recognizing the places and the people maybe, and the trees, the Divine Comedy. Why? Because my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, was an avid reader. And, well, he read with me. And as long as his copy was bilingual, we began reading the Divina Commedia in Spanish, and then a Divina Commedia also in Italian. And my grandfather became blind. And in that moment, I became his eyes. And he told me, he used to tell me, please read me page 99 or 245, etc., because he had a great memory. And I did it. And also, he told me, but in Italian. And I need to speak with my accent. Per me se va nella città dolente, per me se va d'eterno dolore, per me se va tra la perduta gente. Giustizia mossi il mio alto fattore, feceme la divina potestade, la somma sapienza, il primo amore, etc. Why? Because my grandfather thought that children are able to understand all the languages of the world. Do you think so? Maybe, no? I don't know. Well, the Divine Comedy is the reason why I have been trying to write a book with its structure my whole life. And I had the opportunity when I came to the United States. I wrote a book whose name is in Spanish El Corrido de Dante, in English Dante's Ballad, in Italian La Ballata di Dante, in Serbian language Danteova, something like that. I don't understand Serbian language. Dante maybe. And why the Divine Comedy? Because it's a travel from the hell to the purgatory and to heaven. And maybe, you know, my character's name is Dante, El Corrido de Dante. His wife's name is Beatriz. Okay? And Dante is traveling through the United States in a truck, in a van, maybe, and his only companion is a donkey, whose name is Virgilius, of course. Virgilius, the donkey is a donkey. He's not a magic donkey. He doesn't speak. He's a donkey. Donkey. Like we. No, like me. Okay, and I thought that maybe the life of the Latino immigrants is like the life of Dante, traveling through the hells or the purgatory with destiny to a paradise that maybe doesn't exist. American Dreams. This book had a tremendous success. I received an important, very important award in the United States. It was nominated as the most important book written in 1997. No, 2007. 2007. I'm not going to speak about myself, but yeah. But I think that this book transformed me. Until El Corrido de Dante, Dante's Ballad, I was a Peruvian author. From that book, I changed my nationality. I became not only a Peruvian, but a Latin American writer. I remembered that when I was a kid, the first films that I watched in Peru were the Mexican films, where I saw people like me, like us, the same people singing wonderful songs. I wanted to be like them. Brave, excellent singer, etc. So, yes, machista, macho. What? What's the problem? Okay. So, the story of the Mexican Revolution, maybe Mexico. The story of Cuban Revolution, maybe Cuban. The story of everybody, of the boleros, the songs, the corridos, the marineras. The music made me a Latin American. The music made me a person who writes in Spanish, but in Spanish with accent Mexican or Colombian or Argentinian or Cuban, according to the story I write. Our excellent Audrey Garcia has a book whose name is El amor de Carmela me va a matar. Carmela's love is going to kill me. That is the name of a song, a famous song. And that is a novel about immigration too, but women immigration. I had an experience that if you go to Latin America, you are going to see always, if you see a laptop or computer. I went to my town in the north of Peru, and I found the street where I lived at is a street where there are at least 20 widows who are friends of mine, with me. And they were chatting, and they were finding a fiancé in the United States. My sister was one of them. She is widow, so she was looking for a nice, handsome guy in the United States. I think so. So I wrote a novel about that. But my character was not a Peruvian, was not my sister, was a Colombian lady. And I speak with the names of the Colombian food, the Colombian songs, which are the Latin American songs, no Colombian, no Mexican. This is a country. And I began, I wrote that book, that novel. The Divine Comedy is also the reason why I wrote American Dreams in English, Los Sueños de América. You can find them here. Yeah. Los Sueños de América. American Dreams is a book of stories, short stories about Latin American immigrants. One of the stories is about a Mexican family composed by father, mother, a child, and a donkey. And it's in English too, yes. And when they arrived illegally to the United States, and they go to live in Salem, Oregon. And of course, they are illegal, and also the donkey is illegal. So he's hidden, the donkey, and he cannot speak Spanish. But I remember, donkeys don't speak. Okay, but that is not the relevant. The relevance of the story begins when Manuelito, the little kid, goes to the school and falls in love with reading, with the books, to the school. So goes back home and try to teach his best friend, the donkey, to read. Will he know? Will he have success? I don't know. Maybe you are going to know it. In other story, but they are Mexicans. In other, I am Cuban in Miami. The name of that story is Santa Barbara navega hacia Miami. Santa Barbara sails to Miami. In Miami, Florida, a storm is arriving. 2 million people are driving to the Carolinas. The storm will bring waves the size of a skyscraper, and is going to change the geography of the United States. But a woman, an old woman, is going to change this situation. She is sailing from Cuba to Miami in a balsa. She is a balsera. She's escaping Cuba. And she's coming to Miami with an image of Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara is a popular Cuban icon, no? And where is my friend, the Cuban woman who was here? Okay, okay. You know Santa Barbara, isn't it? Claro. Entonces, so maybe Santa Barbara is going to save Miami. Yes, she saves Miami. She saves all this country. Latin Americans are going to save this country because they come here in order to help to build the American dream. In that book, you are going to find an 80-year-old woman from Guatemala. She is walking across the border with her 50-something-year-old son, who have a terminal cancer in the brain. Doctors in Guatemala told her, your son is going to die, so take him home. He's going to die in 2 or 3 weeks. But she doesn't believe in doctors. So she brings him illegally through the border, and she is pushing him, at the beginning of the story, she's pushing him through the hills of close to Tijuana and San Diego. And they arrived to California. They are looking for the best doctor in America. But what do they have? Do they have passport? No. They have visa? They have plastic money? No, at all. They have only $200. But she has love. She believes her son is to be healed because she wants. And she's going to look for the best doctor, and also, if it is necessary, she's going to speak woman to death, in order that death respects the life of her son. It's true, you know, they, in the story, they traveled through California, and they arrived also to Berkeley, where there was an idiot professor who spoke Spanish. And the woman speaks with him. Clumsy is better? Yes. And the woman speaks to him and asks him to lend her an atomic bomb that is wonderful against the cancer. Of course, she has some popular stories about that. So the professor tells her, unfortunately, It's not true. And she says, what happened is you don't have faith. And he's going to be healed. But thank you very much. The story is that I saw them. I saw this woman and her son 2 years after when I went to work in Oregon. I don't know what happened after that, but I wrote the story. In other story I write it with Chilean accent. A Chilean CEO of an advertising company is going to the television. So to participate in a famous talk to television in Spanish, the program name is This Is Your Life, and tells the humble origins of some important people. What the Chilean CEO is that the program host is going to show some fake documents that he used in order to enter in the United States. He doesn't know he's going to show his ex-wife, alcoholic ex-wife, whose marriage gave him legal naturalization. All of that because the CEO doesn't know how vulnerable are also the successful immigrants in this or another country. The other short story, its name is Usted estuvo en San Diego. You were in San Diego. I saw you. You were in San Diego. Yes, you were. You were in San Diego. I saw you. This story is written in second person. Usually, stories are written in third person or first. This is written in second person. You were in San Diego. I saw you. And the story is about a Peruvian woman who has escaped his country because of an ugly dictatorship. And she is very happy in San Diego. She has arrived today. And she feels the happiness of being in the country of freedom and democracy. So she takes a bus in order to see the beauty of this wonderful city of California. But the bus is stopped by the immigration agents. So they begin asking the people to show their documents. Your ID, please. Do you have your ID? Your passport? Your ID? Do you have your ID? Yes. It's an accent. I listened. Do you have your ID, please? The woman is seated close to an American gentleman. You. I saw you. He was? Yes, he was. And when she's panicked, the American gentleman asks her what's happening. And she tells him that the truth. She doesn't have documents. She's an illegal. And what did you do in that moment? I know then. I know. I know what you did. Because you were in San Diego. You were in San Diego, isn't it? I saw you. You were in San Diego? Yes, you were. Ah, ha, ha. You are trying to. I saw you. So, you know what you said? You shout, "Stupid woman! Stupid! And you sit at my side! Stupid!" So in that moment, the immigration agents, then Pareca and me, we went to, in order to your seat, in order to see what's happening. So you remember, we asked him, what's happening? Why you shot that way? And you said, my wife again. She has forgotten her documents. Please take her away of me. I want to be single again. Why this short story is written in second person? Because I want that you, the readers, are also to be also the characters. And that you understand that you live in the same bus, in the same train, in the same plane of everybody. And it is necessary in this train to be solidarity. This is the reason why I write my stories. I cannot lie and tell you, I write a light literature. No. My books have a politic intention. So, you want to know what happened after that story? Yes, you want. Really? Yes. Well, after that, I went to Seattle, Washington, to a book fest, international fair of the book, and I read that story to the public, so nice as you are. And there was, when I said, you were in San Diego, there was a gentleman at the end who raised his arm. Yeah, just a minute, please. One moment, please. So, yes. So, at the end, when people brought their books to be signed for me, the gentleman approached to me and told me, yes, I was there. I was that guy. Well, it could be true or not. So, fortunately, there was somebody taking pictures and pictures and pictures. And I told him, well, thank you. Give me, please, your email address in order to give her, Hortensia is her name, if I can see her again. And you know the coincidence? People think that I write stories. It's not true. Dustin writes for me, them for me. And the following week I was in Miami, Florida. And another international fair of the book. And I saw Hortensia there. She was there. So I told her, Hortensia, please, at the end, come here. Please, Hortensia. Okay. So at the end, she came, and I told her, Hortensia, I have some pictures here, at least 30 or 40 pictures. Would you recognize your Good Samaritan? And she told me, I saw him for only 1 or 2 minutes, but I could be able to see, to recognize him always. And she said, this is the guy. And yes, the picture was the guy who was with me in Seattle. So I gave her his email. And, well, write to him. Okay, the story after the story is that last summer they sent to me an email inviting me to their wedding. So when I decide not to be a professor, I think I am going to be a professional matchmaker. Reality and fiction go together, as you see, in my literary work, because fiction is not fiction. As I told you, I do not want to hide that my narrative has a political intention. I do not write light literature. I will never do it. Perhaps literature is not able to change the world or the human being, but it pushes me to serve values without which the world is deprived of hope and human beings are not respectable. In this case, as in all my books written in this country, I want to be the voice of the people who doesn't have a voice. I want to see the image and to express, to represent the image of a people who doesn't have image or representation. I want to express the image of a people without legitimacy in this society. These people are my people. They are real people. I mean real human beings, as legal as everybody in this country, with the same right to life, voice, legal papers, and the pursuit of happiness. It sounds obvious, but unfortunately, it is not obvious in this time. These people arrived here as a result of the most important demographic movement since the time when the Jewish people marched toward the promised land. The difference is that Jewish people walked 40 years through desert to the promised land, armed with a book, a prophet, and a God. My people comes here pushed by a curse. The curse of living in countries where hope and love and positions have disappeared. I am speaking in behalf, or writing in behalf of them. Please read my books and the books of other people who write about immigration. Thank you for your generous invitation, Dan. Thank you. Among other things, I won some literary prizes, and my books and my mountain have produced a miracle to be read by many, many people, but I want that you read me. And I ask you to create a great audience for our books and to produce the miracle of people understanding each other, building a bridge in this country, and speaking from heart to heart. Thank you very much. Okay.
So you said that you came here in 1990 for a few months. You weren't really interested in coming here, but you also said that a lot of people are coming here to escape problems at home, and certainly there were problems in Peru at that time. Maybe you can reflect on Peru today, because it seems that things are much better and things are changing, and how does that contribute to this, to maybe an improvement in relations overall between people?
Thank you. It's excellent, the question of Dan Piraca. Actually, I remember, thanks to you, that when I came, there was not a dictatorship, but the government of Mr. Fujimori became a dictatorship in 1992, when he closed the Congress, abolished the Constitution, the justice, etc. But in that moment I decided not to come back home, never. And also, I had been a professor in a university where the government put the army in campus. And the army was there for at least a year. And one night, a group of the army entered to the dorms, took 10 students and one professor. They took them, they killed them, they burned them in my university with the pretext of they are communists, the same pretext, always. It is necessary denazification of many countries in America. I think the first country to do the denazification is Argentina. Well, in this moment of my life, I am very, very happy because from April to June, I have been making campaign. Not only I write books, but I also publish an article in many newspapers. In a Spanish chain of newspaper, and also some newspapers in my country. And in these articles, I make campaign for the candidate who has won the elections. In a moment when all the powerful and rich people of Peru was trying to put the daughter of Fujimori as president of Peru. That means to bring back the dictatorship to my country. And the candidate, my candidate, was vilified and qualified as a future dictator, as a leftist, as a communist, etc., etc., etc. I mean, you have the power of the media. You have everything. But despite of them, with the support of the internet, we won the election. This is the first time in my life that I have voted for a candidate that won the elections. And I believe my country is in very good hands in this moment. Yes, I am speaking about Ollanta Humala. His first action is, immediately as he arrived to the power, impose a tax to the great corporation of the miners. Peru is the first or second producer of gold, the first of silver, the first of copper in the world. There is a boom of the mineral. My country in this moment is very rich, but the mines are in places where 80% of the people is very poor and goes to bed with hungry. So they didn't pay tax. They paid something what you pay for working, for studying in this university. And right now they need to pay hundreds or more, thousands of millions of dollars as a tax, and they are glad because in other case they were not going to stay in my country.
I just want to personally thank you for coming to share your vision and for being courageous in your writing, because this issue of immigration pertains us all. And myself, as you, being Peruvian, at a certain point here in my life in the United States, I also, like you, became a Latin American. And in my classes, just the other day, I was telling my students we were reading a novel and also watching a film, Rosario Tiquera, and there's an influence of Mexican popular music. You know, and I tell my students that in Colombia and in Peru, we're also very much into corridos, into mariachis, and all of that. And in Peru right now, there is this also idea that Peru also belongs to Latin America at large. And again, going back to this topic, very important topic, especially here in Georgia, about immigration. Tell us a little bit about how this issue is affecting your community in Oregon and around the university and the student population pertaining to this issue of immigration from Latin America.
Thank you very much. And don't go yet. You have another class. But if you wish, you can take one of my books and I will sign. I think they are there.
They are.
But there, that way? I don't know. Okay. Well, when I arrived here, when I arrived to Oregon, Salem, Oregon, I was the first professor, Latino professor in my university in 1993. Yes, and maybe there were 10 or 20 Mexican students. Maybe. Now, the situation is very different. And there are thousands, okay? And in that moment, I noticed that when I went to the church, I noticed that young people from the United States and young people from Mexico, they didn't get together. They didn't believe in the other. So I established a program in my class whose name is Building a Bridge. And I asked my students, this is a requirement for the grade, to go to the Hispanic homes of the valley to teach English, DMV rules, citizenship rules, etc., and other skills for survival in this country. And students went there. And more students decided to do that. I remember a student, we wrote a book together, and a student told or wrote, I have learned a lot of things from this program. I have found love and family. And right now there are at least 2,000 or more families reached by this program. I do that every spring and also during all other terms. Yes. And situation have changed radically in my university and in Oregon during this time. Yeah. Thank you.
I guess outside of continuing educating, what is the next step
What is the next step of immigration in this country?
in your, like your ideal vision, where does it go beyond education?
Well, it is necessary to give an immigration law, a reform of the immigration law immediately. It's not, I think, that the immigration is wonderful for this country and for this time of crisis. Some people say that immigrants are guilty of everything that happens in this country. They say immigrants come here in order to eat our social security, our taxes, etc. But this is not true. Immigrants pay, not only legal immigrants, but illegal immigrants pay the same taxes as everybody in this country. For example, Juan Perez arrives and goes to work in a company. When they ask him which number is your social security, he says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Well, they put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And at the end of the year, the illegal immigrant receives a letter from the administration telling him, well, this number is not in our computers, but we are going to give you another number, transitional, another number, in order that you can pay your taxes. So Juan Perez is going to pay his taxes, but he will not have any benefit. He will not have unemployment. He will not have retirement, anything. So it's great for the American treasure. But if Juan Perez is legalized, the Social Security is going to receive the contribution of millions of people. Don't forget that. Okay, so this is not only something that I feel with the heart. This is what is necessary to do in order to have a healthy economy. Thank you very much.